Now, hey guys, how's it going? It's Mark Johnson back again, and today I'm going to help you get your free government money if you're here in Australia. Now, you should definitely watch this video if you're in Australia because maybe there's some free grant that you don't know about. This applies to everyone. Businesses, just contractors, sole traders, ABN holders, employees of businesses, regular workers that have maybe lost a few hours of work. So definitely stay and watch this video because you might have missed something. I'm going to expose it all so that if you're eligible for any kind of free money, then you can get that money. I want to get it into the hands of the little guys. Now, the whole reason for all this free money that's getting sloshed around is because of the COVID outbreaks we've been having here in New South Wales. Is in lockdown, all of Sydney and up to Newcastle, down the coast, it's all in lockdown. So this money is meant to provide assistance for anyone who's been slightly affected by COVID or the lockdowns or anything related to COVID. Now, as I said before, this money is available for pretty much everyone: sole traders, employees, employers, anyone who's lost over 8 hours of work a week. Even non-Australian citizens can actually get this money as long as you have a working visa over here in Australia. Now I'm going to quickly go through what payments there are available for you and what you need to be eligible to get those payments. Also going to quickly show you how to apply and what you'll need to provide to actually, in your application. Now again guys, a lot of this money that's getting sloshed around is going to end up in the hands of the big boys, the big businesses that have accountants on the books on hand that are on top of this information. So by me uploading this video, I hope it gets to the smaller people out there, the people that actually need the money and could use it. I hope it gets to them. I hope it gets to the average person and they can get their cut of the pie. Now again guys, this isn't free money at the end of the day. This is debt that we're taking on and future generations are going to have to cover, or it just devalues our current Australian dollar. So you may be earning a certain amount per week, and after all this free money's been sloshed out because of inflation and things that happen when they print a ton of money, your wage may not have as much buying power as it did before this whole thing. So it's good. It's good that you get your slice of the pie. Okay, your free money, you need to get it, because if it ends up in the hands of other people, you're taking a wage cut basically for no reason at all, and you're suffering through this inflation and whatever comes with printing money and taking on debt. You're suffering through it for no reason. One more thing guys, 100% of this criteria isn't black and white on who shouldn't apply for this. So if you're asking me, I would say just apply for it, and worst comes to worst, if you have to pay it back or something. Now if you're not eligible and you end up fibbing on your application, they're not going to check every single application on a case-by-case basis. So it's true you probably would end up getting away with it. However, I'm not saying in any way you should lie on your application to try and get this free money. I'm just saying that you should definitely not be scared to apply for it, because not everything in the criteria is black and white, Now, firstly, okay, if you're a business or you're an ABN holder, which is sole traders, contractors, you can apply for the COVID-19 business grant, which is $15,000, up to $15,000, depending on how much of a revenue decline you can show. For free. Now, to be eligible for this, you need to make over $75,000 a year, like as a regular year for you. And you also need to have a loss or be able to show a loss of 30%, a decline in revenue of 30% over the last, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or whatever, from these COVID lockdowns. You need to show you've been affected by these COVID lockdowns and they have given you a decline in revenue by 30%. But I did a full video on this because this is an interesting one and this is a lot of money. I did a full detailed breakdown video of this, exactly how to apply for it and what you're going to need to show in your application, everything, step-by-step process. So check out that video for more information on that, because that's a really good detailed video if you're interested in getting that grant. So I'm not going to have a whole lot of information on it here. Check out that video. So the next one is going to be, if you're a sole trader, contractor, business, whatever, the JobSaver grant. So for this one, if you're a business with employees, you can get up to 40% of your payroll. So all the wages and stuff that you have to pay your employees to try and keep them on, you can get up to 40% of that back from the government for free. Now, if you're a non-employing business, like a sole trader, contractor, you're just a one-man show, whatever you want to call it, tradies, whatever. If you have an ABN and you don't have any employees, you can get $1,000 a week. If you can, if you make over $75,000, you've got to make over $75,000 to be eligible, like in previous years. and you have to show a decline in 30% as well. Now you can prove this by uploading BAS statements in your application, or there's a number of things that they ask that you can use to prove it, but mostly they're taking your word for it. You can get an accountant's verification letter, which is another thing you can do, but the accountant will charge you. My accountant charged me $165 for it, but you don't need an accountant's verification letter for this grant, okay? You do for the $15,000 free money grant, but the JobSaver one, you don't need an accountant's verification letter, okay? If you want to know how to get the accountant's verification letter, again, check out that video because I go into detail on what you need from the accountant. But you don't need that for this application, but you will need to put up some BAS statements and things to prove that you made over $75,000 in a previous tax year and that you've had a decline in revenue. So guys, if you want to apply for these grants, what we're going to do is click on this link here. Okay, it's going to be the first link in the video description. It's going to be the only link in the video description. No referrals, no nothing. This video is strictly to help Australians that are in need of some free money from the government. Alright, so this is the link right here. Or you can go to COVID-19 Help for Businesses on Service New South Wales. And this is the page you're going to be greeted with after you click that link. So this is the business grant here for $15,000. And this is the JobSaver payment. So you can just hit that. And then you can read the criteria, blah, 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 blah. Make sure you're eligible for it. Or you can show that you're eligible. And then just go apply online. And run through the steps. Won't take you too long. Verify your identity and whatnot. It's worth doing. Just do it. Now the next one, the COVID-19 disaster payment. Okay, this is for employees, like people who don't own businesses, your regular average Joe like you and me, you know, just living it up. Okay, it's for these guys. If you've lost a couple of hours work each week, it's for them, and it's also for contractors and sole traders and business owners. Okay, it's some of them. Okay, but it's for your average, you know, your average Joe, okay, like me and you. Now, these can be up to $700 per week, okay, and you don't need to prove anything or show anything here. They basically just take your word for it. So, to apply for it, what you need to do is, boom, boom, boom. Okay, first you're gonna need to sign into MyGov or create an account on MyGov, okay? Okay, so once you're logged into MyGov, all right, as you can see, this message appears at the top right here. Support for coronavirus is the COVID-19 disaster payment. But first, before you can apply for it, what you need to do is you need to link Centrelink to your MyGov account. So to do that, you can go to services right here. Alright, and I've already linked Centrelink right here, but if you haven't linked Centrelink, you can go right here to link a service, okay? You can scroll down and you want to link Centrelink. Now, you may have trouble doing this. I did. It was a bit of a screw around. I didn't link it properly. I put in something happened, right? And then I couldn't fix it even after I called Centrelink and stuff. So the way to fix it is just to go and unlink Centrelink and then relink it properly, okay? So that's how you fix that issue that I had. I don't know if you guys will have that. It'll probably go smoothly for you guys, but that's just the issue I had. Alright, so you can just unlink it and then relink it again. So once you got Centrelink linked, back to home, and then go apply for support. Now obviously there's going to be a bunch of information that you need to put in here. A lot of the time your MyGov account, you'll already be verified on there, like you have your ID and stuff already on there, so they won't need you to put your ID and everything in. But if you haven't, you're going to need to prove your identity, answer a bunch of questions, and they take your word for it. You tick a box saying, yes, I solemnly swear that I am being affected by coronavirus, I lost this many hours of work, whatever. You put in a little bit of details about your employer. And now, look, they're probably going to go around and they're probably going to call a few employers and double check to make sure you're not telling fibs, okay, and get the correct information, that you haven't, say, you lost 40 hours of work per week when you haven't lost any hours of work per week. So just keep that in mind. But again, they're not going to check everyone. So once you click that link at the top of MyGov and it takes you to Centrelink, here is the affected by coronavirus, the disaster payment. You can just click this and get started. Alright, and you can apply for it right here. Very easy. Most people who have been affected by coronavirus can apply for this one, okay? I think the criteria is you have to have lost more than 8 hours of work per week, which isn't black and white, okay? What are they talking about here? 8 hours of overtime. Maybe I work 70-hour weeks usually, and now my boss has just cut me down to you know, my standard 40-hour week. You know, I've lost 20 hours there. It's not black and white exactly what it says, so just apply for it. Now the payment is up to $750 per week. Now I'm saying up to, I think it's $300 if you've lost more than 8 hours a week, and if you've lost more than 20 hours a week, it goes up to the $750. It used to be $600, but they've just recently increased it to $750, depending on how many hours a week you've lost. Now again guys, they basically just take your word for it in the application. I'm sure they're going to call some employers, but a lot of people are going to be getting this money, I think, that don't need it or that are just applying for it or fibbing. I'm not sure, okay? That's my hunch. So it's important that you get in now and apply for it and get that money, okay? Because it ain't going to be here for much longer. And don't be scared to apply for it because, again, the criteria isn't black and white. So everyone's kind of going to be applying for this, like the 8 hours per week that you've lost. What are they talking about there? They're not very... They're not exactly portraying what they mean by that. Do they mean overtime that you've lost per week? Do they mean your standard working hours that you've lost per week? Do they mean, you know, you've done 8 hours less than the previous week that you got affected by coronavirus, or the previous year when you were maybe working more hours last year? I don't know. They're not black and white with what the criteria is there. So I would just apply for it. And worst comes to worst, you have to pay it back. As long as you've been affected by coronavirus, I think, yeah, you should be entitled to this money, really. You might as well take it before someone else does. It's sad to say, but it's out there at the moment. If you don't take it, someone else will. But again, don't be fibbing here. You need to be honest with your applications, because if you get caught out, you're going to have to pay the money back. Now, even non-Australian citizens can apply for this. Okay, so if you're over here on a working visa, you can apply for it as long as you've lost certain hours as well, as long as you meet the criteria. But you don't actually have to be an Australian citizen to get this money. As long as you have a working visa and you meet the criteria, you can also get it. Again, guys, if you've been affected by coronavirus in any way, just apply for it. And the worst comes to worst, you got to pay it back. Don't be afraid to apply for it, because these are tough times. And everyone could do with a little more cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching in their pocket, you know. Alright guys, I hope that update helped you out. You know, feel free to comment on here if you have any questions, or even DM me. Honestly, most of that information is on that page. So if you hit the first link in the description, this link right here, it's going to take you to that page. And you're going to get all the information you need on there. And, you know, again, it's not black and white, the wording with the criteria. But just apply for it and see what happens. And yeah, I hope this video helped you out. I hope this video gets some money into the hands of the little guy, the average guy that needs the money, and out of the hands of the big businesses that are just scooping it all up, going, yes, 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 we have accountants on hand. We'll take all this money. They know how to swing the books to make it look like we've lost a certain amount of revenue. So we'll just take all that job saver money. We'll take it all, scoop it all up, and we'll keep it, okay? We'll keep it out of the hands of the little guy, and we'll devalue the AUD, because that's what happens when they print money like this. So that's why I want you guys to have the money, and not the big corporations, the big companies that don't really need it. Anyways, I hope this helped, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.